Hola, mi amigos. Welcome back to whatever this is. So, we had an impromptu dyno session at Johnny's yesterday. It was just Eric and I, and then some other guy showed up with a one of the newer cars. Really, really nice. What do they call that? Black Horse? I think it is. Dark Horse? Yeah. Made 444 at the wheels. Sometimes I wonder, what do we do? Why am I still messing with these little 5 liters? But then I remember it's easy to work on and it's cheap and they're fun in a lightweight car. So, but it does make sense why Brian put one in his LX. I guess his son has one too. Got a Coyote in his. I think he said he's got a convertible Fox body. But anyway, gonna go over the dyno real quick. So Johnny had been working on on Vincent's Focus RS for a while. He had some issue with the turbo or the turbo controller, something. And he got it fixed. So I called him on Thursday. He said the car was done. And then I asked him while I was on the phone, I said, hey, if you got a dyno session coming up with any group of people, I want to tag in on the back end of them if I can. He says, well, I'm doing a tune for a guy Saturday morning. He says, come on up. Be here at 9. He's supposed to come at 10, so just bring your car up and then we'll get you on there. I said, sweet. And then I said, hey, I think Eric might want to do his. You got room for his too? Well, and he said, sure. So Eric has his, I think it's called an Accord. It's got a big old turbo on it, and he did pretty good. I thought I would be able to get all the details from Eric after he got the car off the dyno, but he had to duck out because he had to go to work. So if he sees this, he can chime in what it is, but it's a pretty neat little car. Looks like a sleeper kind of because there's no giveaway from the outside. You know, a couple of stickers on it and an exhaust, but other than that, it made like 337 horsepower. And he said it's a handful when you give her the beans on the road. That was my cheat sheet. Wrote down the dyno numbers. So anyway, drove the trooper car up there. I had a hunch something was wrong with the mass air system because on the way up there I was data logging, and it had like one side was really rich, one side was really lean, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't the oxygen sensors. The wideband was kind of going all over the place. Of course, that's only in one side, but you know, it's supposed to move a lot because it's the oxygen sensors are switching, what they call it. So it goes lean, then it runs it rich, then it goes rich, and then it goes back to being lean again. So it's always correcting. Well, initially when I was doing data logs, it wouldn't correct at all, and I was like, man, what's going on with this thing? But after I run it for, you know, halfway to Crestview, then it really started correcting. And I think because every time I was back here, I turned the battery switch off, so it has to run for a while before it'll start. And I remember reading some literature a while back that you got to run them at least 11 miles before the EEC will start correcting for the fuel. So that was probably the issue, but I still knew something wasn't right because when I do a data log and I'd give it wide open throttle for a little bit, it would register the amount of air coming in, and it was really low from what I typically would see with a car that made about this much power. And then also, when I first got it running, there's a formula you got to use for slot meters in a 4-inch pipe. And I had to essentially double that to get it to run right. So I was like, all these things together, I was like, something's wrong. So I took it up there anyway, even though I hadn't like nailed down what it was going on. So I'm going to check the wiring to the mass air meters. I'm going to check the mass air meters themselves. I'm going to put each one individually and the red car and do a data log, make sure they're working good. And I've got the 2 in the car. I've got an extra one I had on the truck, so I'll have mass air meters to compare, the slot meters. And then, of course, like I said, check the wiring. And if all that shows they're all good, then it's got to be the Pro-M Duo, which sucks because Pro-M is supposedly, they're closed up. They're not the guy who was running it, I guess, went off the deep end, kind of like he just stopped answering emails and was getting people's money for stuff and wasn't sending them a product. So the last I heard, a couple of the employees are trying to buy the business. So, but so far, nothing. Like I said, so hopefully it's not the Pro-Am Duo. But to get to the dyno session, I had run the engine on the modeling software I have, and I anticipated a certain number. I thought it would do 387 at the rear wheels. So we first ran it with a mass air system, and that is what this looks like. You know, I got the 4-hole throttle body, then the 2 mass air meters in that tubing, and that's, even though I didn't have the fuel the way I wanted it, and I was still trying to get that ironed out. It was kind of a struggle to get that, especially when I hadn't been able to give it, you know, like full throttle for any length of time. But I was kind of getting there, because I was just trying to get the clutch broke in first before I made a full pass, you know, in 3rd gear to check where the fuel was at. So with the mass air system, it made 340 and then 298 foot-pounds, and that was full hot. I just driven it from Fort Walton to Crestview, and that's like 20 some miles. And then that was first pass. I didn't do any tuning at all the whole day. And the second pass, you know, Johnny run it again just to kind of make sure it was accurate, you know, duplicate itself, and it was 335, 305. So then the third pass, I unplugged the mass air meters and I put a speed density processor in, and then it made 359 and 333, and so that picked up pretty good. Then the speed density one is a little more dialed in than the mass air for wide open throttle. And then I think Johnny went inside for a little bit on the phone, so it cooled off a little bit. So when he got back in, he fired it up, and he asked where to run the temp, and I said it should be about 160, so that's what he ran. And it was 373, 337. It was getting closer to what I anticipated. So then the fifth test, I took the mass air, that whole monstrosity off. I took it off, set it off to the side, and we ran just the 4-hole throttle body open to the whole atmosphere. And then it made 382, 345. And that's closer to what I anticipated. And then he ran it again, and it was 378, 350. So the peaks for the horsepower was right around 6,000, between 6,000 and 6,100 if I remember right, and then the torque was right around 4,500. And when he gassed it at 2,000 RPM, it stayed above 3,000. It broke 300 foot-pounds, about 2,800 RPM, and it stayed there all the way past 5,000, which is, the torque curve is just like almost flat. There's a little rise, you know, but other than that, it was super flat. I couldn't believe how flat the torque curve was, especially when you got a little Vic Jr. You know, he's supposed to be getting rid of all your low RPM torque. And my neighbor lady's caretaker, my neighbor lady's 101 going on 102. Hopefully there's something in the water around here. But like I said, so the torque was good, and it feels strong, you know. The speed density, of course, it just spins the tires. But we was planning initially, earlier in the week, we were planning to go to Cottonwood Friday night. Well, then you know, the weather wasn't cooperating. It rained. I was anxious to go all week, and then the closer it got and the more I started looking at the weather, I was like, this ain't gonna work out. So now we're planning to go to Panama City track, North Florida Motorplex or something like that, this coming Friday. What's that, the 28th, I think? So hopefully the weather cooperates again. Right now it ain't looking that hot, but we're a ways away. And from what I've kind of seen, if it's forecast rain, it's going to be nice. If they forecast it's going to be nice, it'll rain. It's just the way the weather fairies operate. So all in all, I got some work to do yet. I can run at speed density right now if I wanted to on the track, but I want to get the mass air system hooked up, so then I can have the dual boom tubes coming out through the headlights. But anyway, that's about it. Hopefully I took some video of Johnny when it was on the dyno, and as usual, I didn't do a very good job because I was kind of focused on how was it running and stuff like that. So for some reason, too, you'll notice in the videos the lifters are really noisy. I've got them turned down a half turn. I don't know why they're so noisy, but they're new lifters too. If I remember right, there are some Elgin lifters. So when I put the new cam in, I'll probably put a new cam in it in the spring, get something a little beefier than the stock one, and we'll put new lifters in then, I think. So anyway, appreciate y'all. I'll get all the rest of the video strung together and put this up on interwebs. All right, later, fellas. Hey, looking at the video, the first video before Johnny made the pull, he made a comment that there was no rear brakes. So I went over and looked, and the adjuster was turned all the way out, or not, the manual proportioning valve was turned all the way out. So on the way home, I remembered the last time I had driven this was when I was at Holt, and I broke the transmission on the starting line, and I hadn't driven it since. I mean, other than around here. And I had put manual, got rid of the power brake booster, put manual brakes on here. And when I've been driving it around, it's like, man, this pedal doesn't seem like it's doing a whole lot. It's pretty stiff. And I said, well, maybe that's just the way the manual brakes are. And so now when I got home, I cranked it in. It's supposed to be out 3 turns from full bottom. So now it's turned out 3 turns. And as soon as I get to go drive it again, it should be a lot better. But that was the issue of why. I thought it was pretty funny. On the way home when I was thinking about it, I was like, man, that's been 4 years ago. That thing's been out because one of the rear calipers was hanging up before, so I always turned that thing all the way out at the track, and I just never turned it back in. All right, back to this. This has got the mass air. Mass air system. Oh yeah. So the speed density made almost 20 horsepower more. Yeah, a little more torque. Just the throttle body. where it was at. So this is Eric's little sleeper hot rod. It's a Honda, of course. I don't know what kind, body style or nothing. This guy, he's a Honda guy. He's got a channel called Obi-Wan Garage. Go check it out. He's got a lot of Honda stuff. We don't hold it against him. But Eric's gonna run this thing, and he'll tell you about it in a minute. Got a big old turbo on it. See what it did. Sounded like it really kicked in about halfway up the rev range. Spun it to 8,337 horsepower, 227 foot-pounds.